welcome to the Flame and Fiber podcast. My name is Barbara. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Diva S. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me in my podcast in the time of coronavirus. As you may or may not know, I have been vlogging every day during my shutdown here in southeastern Pennsylvania. We're still on code yellow. I'm still in lockdown. More self-imposed at this moment, I guess, than necessarily by the government, although there's not tons going on. I don't want to be doing anything, but I did my 90-second vlog today. So I've been doing this for 92 days, and that's probably corresponds almost exactly to how long it's been since I saw my parents. But they are doing well. They're in assisted living, and no coronavirus in their assisted living home, either patients or staff. They were all tested a couple weeks ago, which is good. And they're doing very well because they have each other. Quite a few of the residents there live alone in their apartments, and so some of them are not having quite as easy of a time. Apparently they're like, most of the people live on the second floor. My parents happen to be on the third floor, and there are a couple other people spread around on the third floor. This is a new facility, just opened in September, and they are not full by any means, which I'm grateful for. I think that made it easier for them to keep everyone safe. But most people live on the second floor, and so apparently they're doing bingo in the hallway, and people are sitting in their doorways listening for the numbers and participating in that way. So they're doing what they can. My sisters messaged me and said, Daddy said that they're going to be visiting up on a limited basis in the near future. So it's Father's Day today. It's June 21st, and I will be calling my father later, and he will be telling me the news. We'll be going over to the in-laws later this evening. It's Father's Day for my father-in-law too, who had his birthday on the Thursday when he turned 103. Yeah. I have high hopes for Dennis's longevity so he can take care of me when I'm an old lady. My grandmother lived to be my great-grandmother lived to be 100 almost, and her son, my grandfather, only lived to be 89, but he died in a fire. And while it counts for he died, it doesn't count for longevity. And he had polio in both legs since he was 11, so he was a pretty hardy guy. It was sad. But it was quite a while ago. So anyway, I could live long too, and Dennis can take care of me and cook for me like he does now. So that's a little update on the parents. They're all doing well, and I will be talking to them or seeing them all today. So I have pages and pages of show notes because I've been busy since the last time I podcast, which was 3 weeks ago, I think. And, I don't have something, and I don't know where it is, so I'm not sure what to do. Oh, well, I'll just talk about it. I have been busy. And I've gotten a little bit away from my stockinette obsession, which means I'm feeling like I have a little more brain power. And I was doing some things like a little bit of decorative knitting. This is the Tulpe sweater. Tulpe top by Lisa Hannes or Maliha Designs. And I did a little video. Oh my gosh, I just took rats. I just moved this seam in all over an inch on each side, trying to make sure my bra straps wouldn't show. Of course, I didn't try it on with a bra or anything like that, but if I move them in any further, I won't be able to give it over my head. I did a little video so you could see it all around, and I'll put it here. This is my Tulpe sweater. This pattern was a gift from the lovely Linda, which was so sweet. Thank you so much, my dear. I really appreciate it. It's got the beautiful tulip design, and it goes great with my shorts, and it's a lovely summer top, and I love it. I was so glad to be able to use this yarn, even though I still have a little bit left. And yeah, you know, I don't have the best looking arms, but you know what? Screw them if they can't take a joke. If they don't want to see them, they can avert their eyes. That's what I say. Avert your eyes. So anyway, I'm very tickled with this. Thank you, Linda. You're the best. And that's my Tulpe. Okay, so there's me in my Tulpe. Thank you again, Linda. Oh my gosh, what a sweet woman she is. She sends me beautiful patterns. And as soon as I saw this, I thought, oh, I have just the yarn. This yarn is from Tuskan Knits. I bought this yarn at Indie Untangled 3 years ago at Rhinebeck, I think. And Lorelei Erdo had knit a big shawl out of this exact yarn, which I loved the shawl. So I'm like, okay, I'm making that shawl. Let me get the exact same yarn. I'm getting, you know. And so I did, which was 3 skeins, and it is 100% superwash merino and a single. So I got 3 skeins, and it's been sitting in my stash for a very long time. 3 years. Not that long, but sitting there because I lost the urge to make the shawl, and now I have 3 skeins. But as it turns out, as soon as I saw this pattern, I thought, oh, I can make that in 3 skeins. And in fact, I don't think I brought it. I have probably 40 grams, 35 grams of this yarn left. So it only took about 2.5 skeins. So that was fun. It's a very straightforward rectangular design, except it has this beautiful tulip pattern. I ended up adding 1 more row of tulips because you kind of do tulips all the way to the bottom of the armhole, and I needed it a little longer. I'm going to sneeze in a minute. Of course, I have no tissues anywhere near me. That's how it goes. So anyway, I really am happy with it. It's not a bright, cheerful color. It's kind of, you know, gray-green, but it goes actually great with these army green shorts I have. So there you go. And it was very fun to knit, so I recommend it if you're looking for a quick, fun knit. But my straps are still showing. Well, I might just take in another 1/2 inch and hope I can get it over my head. That'll make it a closed thing, though. The front and the back are exactly the same. So you don't have to worry about what's the front and what's the back. Oh, I know what else I forgot. So I can go get a tissue and go get my other thing. Okay, blew my nose and got my Ripple Bralette. Backwards. This is my Ripple Bralette by Jessie May Martinson. And I made this out of Knit Pick Stroll. And I showed you this last time. And I told you that, you know, I had misunderstood how it was designed. And I had to go back and I added 5 inches at least to this. Yeah, 5 inches to this to see if I could make it work for me. And so I tried it on, but I had to wear my bra. So I'm not sure how useful a bralette is that you need to wear a bra. But I took a picture of me in my bralette, in my bra, and I hope I can find it and put it there so you can see it. But the reality is, I don't think this is going to work for me, because it absolutely does not work without a bra. Now that I say that, I'm tempted to try to like add another 5 inches. And then I can wear it around the house, because it ain't going anywhere outside. I can tell you that right this minute. I did show it on my vlog with a jumpsuit that kind of crosses here and needs something under it. But I don't think I'll be wearing it with that. So I'm not sure. I'm tempted to just send it to my daughter-in-law and say, hey, will you wear this? If not, take the straps in and give it to Isabel. She's going to be 7 this summer. She's going to be 7 this summer. She's going to be in the 2nd grade. So this will be very loose on her, but she could wear it. I betcha. Maybe I'll send it to Allison and say, if it doesn't fit, you send it back or bring it back this summer if you come in August, and I'll shorten the straps for Isabel. Anyway, so this is my bralette. This was out of Knit Pick Stroll in the bear colorway. I don't know if I said that. And yeah, my girls need lots of support, and not happening with this. So even at home it wasn't comfortable. That's how. If it were another 6 or 8 inches long, it would be more comfortable. It would work better at home. Wouldn't work anywhere else, but it could work at home. But anyway, so this is my 2nd finished object. My 3rd finished object, and 4th and 5th and 6th, are my oven mitts and my pot holder. Now the pot holder turned out great, and I was surprised. So this was a big giant swatch, because this yarn I think is a Briar Rose Farms, something like that. I couldn't find the tag. And I was pretty sure it would felt, but the tag specifically said we don't guarantee any of our yarns will felt. So I made this big swatch and I felted it, and it would prove that it could felt. And I knit this, you know, with just 1 strand of the yarn. And I gave it to Dennis to use as a pot holder. And he said, you know, it's okay as a pot holder in that my hand doesn't get hot when I'm holding the pot. But it was too big. It was another, maybe this much bigger. And he said that, you know, it's sort of like too big, so it kind of got into the pot and into the food and things like that. So it wasn't going to work at that size. So when I finished knitting my mitts, one of them was kind of a weird shape and I didn't think it was going to work, so I ended up making another one. But, you know, in the end, after they're felted, I think it was this one, but I'm not even sure. So he has 3 nice oven mitts, and these I held the yarn double, and so that they would be nice and safe. Now wool is perfect for oven mitts because wool is, as you know, fire resistant, so that once you take the wool out of the flame, it stops burning. So perfect for a pot holder, whereas cotton would continue to burn. So I finished these 3, and then so I took them and I took the 2 big pot holder that I had, and I washed them in hot water with I forget what, people suggested old jeans and stuff. I didn't have any jeans. I wasn't sure if the color would run. I didn't have any jeans that were dirty. I forget what I put with it. But anyway, I got beat up, and then I dried it on high. So I didn't do it with any clothes. We don't dry our clothes on high. We dry our clothes on low. So I washed them with towels or something like that, which we do dry on high. Dried them on high. It worked great. They felted, and my pot holder felted down more to the perfect size. And it's a really nice thickness. So the reality is that I did not have to, probably didn't have to hold the yarn double because for the oven mitts, because by the time it felted, it would have been a really nice fabric. Of course, this is more felted than these because this went through twice. But anyway, so Dennis has put them in rotation. I had to take them out of the drawer to show them to you. But these are my oven mitts. And this pattern is called Hot Out of the Oven, and it's a Knit Picks pattern, and I'm quite sure it's free. And they have, well, this wasn't part of a pattern. I just knit a square. And they do have some pot holder, fancier pot holder patterns as part of that pattern. So these are finished objects. I will go put these back in the kitchen for Dennis. So then, last but not least, I finished my l'envelope. Now back in, oh, I was going to bring that too. Back in 2015, I made the l'envelope, which I thought was the coolest pattern. And by Sally Melville. And I was a fairly new knitter, and I ended up doing the garter stitch version. This is seed stitch. There's also garter stitch, because I was such a new knitter, I couldn't figure out how to count rows with seed stitch at that time. So I made a garter stitch version, and I'm going to go get that now. This video is going to be lots of little pieces. So here is my original envelope. A couple weeks ago, I did a little retrospective of all my KALs, and I showed this. Now this is huge. I don't know if I can be able for you to see it, but it is huge. And in fact, I did not finish it because I did not. There's supposed to be a seam on this side that turns that into a sleeve, but it's not supposed to go down to your wrist. So in the process of showing my KALs, I showed this and said, you know, it's been kind of in my mind, in my stash for years, because I've never worn it. I didn't even finish it. But when I tried it on, I thought, well, you know what? This is actually kind of a cute poncho-y thing. But you can see how loose it is. And this is garter stitch. And so anyway, I think I'm actually going to finish it. I think I am going to make that into a sleeve. And maybe wear it like a poncho. I like the yarn. This is Briar Farms yarn I got from a yarn box. So anyway, I was showing this in my retrospective of my KALs and said, you know, I really like this pattern. I didn't like what I ended up with, but you know, I'm a better knitter now. And I can read a gauge swatch now. So I may just do this again. And Sarah said, hey, I'd like to do a l'envelope. Let's do one together. And so we ended up deciding to do a knit along. And then, you know, it's fun to do a knit along. So we are doing the hug around the neck knit along, because I know everybody doesn't necessarily want to do a l'envelope. But so we've expanded it to be any accessory that goes around your neck, a shawl, a cowl, a scarf, a poncho, a capelet, something like that. It started June 1st. So if you had something started but not very far along at June 1st, you can do it. It ends in September, and there is a thread on Ravelry to chat and show your stuff. And we would love you to join us. So we are having a hug around the neck knit along because I wanted to make another envelope. So I don't know where, you know, if you can figure out where I got the inspiration for the color. Well, I loved hers. Oh my gosh, the yarn smells so good. This is Crafty Toad's Sweater Toad in the colorway red. It's from their fairy tale collection and Red Riding Hood, and this is red. This yarn, when I opened the packet, I do not know what they wash their yarn in after they dye it, but it still smells good, and I've knit a whole thing of it, and it still smells absolutely yummy. So ladies, kudos, yum. So anyway, here's my envelope, which it's hard to tell what we've got, but it's all blocked. And well, I didn't block the shoulder piece, but I think it's fine anyway. But I took a video of me wearing it, and I will show it now. Here is my envelope. Let me adjust you down a little bit. You can see more of the envelope and less of the light. And here it is. My entry, maybe my first entry, who knows, into the hug around the neck, make along. KAL, make along. So here we go. This has a seam here, so this is like a sleeve, and this does not. This is just an over the shoulder side, so it's quite asymmetrical, as you can see. And I'm really happy with it. And I don't know if I brought the pattern up or not. It looks just like the pattern. She made hers in red too. My envelope. Okay, there you go. So that is my envelope. And I did this one in seed stitch. I love, love, love seed stitch. It's fun to knit. See this? I've got this is the front. Because the reality is it doesn't matter which one's the front because they're both exactly the same also. It's just where you're going to put the sleeve. Because if you see when I hold it, there's no difference. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But it does have that sleeve, and the sleeve goes on the left side, according to Sally. The only tricky thing about this is it took me a few minutes to get the back collar looking as good as the front collar. Because when you put it on, it folds over like a collar. So I'm really, really happy with it. It's a fun, interesting, so it looks great with my black turtleneck, as you saw. I have a black dress, a black long-sleeved winter dress that this will go gorgeous with. But I'm hoping that I'll just wear it when I'm cold. This will be a perfect snuggle even when I'm sitting downstairs. It was a really fast knit. I mean, I knit this in a week after I got my yarn. And I'm really tickled with it. So this is my envelope. And I hope if you're interested in knitting a shawl or a cowl or something, you'll join us for our hug around the neck knit along. I have no idea what the prizes will be, but you know, there's got to be prizes because people are participating. So join us in the thread in Ravelry and talk and see and show us what you're doing. And of course, this does not qualify for the stash Mal 2020, which is the wonderful Craft from Your Stash knit along that I'm doing with the lovely, lovely Leslie from Not Quite Enough Yarn. This is new yarn I ordered especially for this. I do not have a lot of bulkier or heavier weight yarns. This is an Aran weight. I don't want to put it down. This is an Aran weight yarn, and so I ordered it. But the Craft from Your Stash make-along is continuing on. It's a year-long make-along. And if you owned the yarn or the fiber at the end of 2019 and you started the project in 2020, or if you were working on a project for the Stash Mal 2019 and didn't quite finish it in time by the end of the year, it will still qualify if you finished it. So I'm not a real stickler for the rules, but those easy rules. Now I've got yarn in my nose. Fiber. So please join us for both of these, and you can quadruple dip if you're using stash yarn to make your hug around the neck, then put it in both threads. For the Stash Mal, I am picking prizes. I'm picking prizes at the end of the quarter, which is the end of June. So the next podcast, I will be announcing prize winners, and the prize winner. So from the chatter thread, I will pick a winner for a pattern prize, $10 or less US. And from the finished objects thread, I will be picking a yarn prize winner. And since the yarn prize winner from the first quarter did not contact me, I will be picking 2 yarn winners from the FO thread in the next podcast. So be sure and post your pictures, 1 post per finished object. Post your pictures in the finished object thread, and you might be a winner of a yarn prize, which I don't know what it's going to be, but it'll be something lovely. I hope you like it. So those are all my finished objects. But I've been busy. Can you see how busy I've been? Oh my gosh. And I have whips, which I put somewhere. What the heck? Hold on. Oh, here it is. Earthquake. I have it, yep, under my camera. It's not a camera, it's a phone. Sorry about that. Okay. So I also got the urge to do some cross stitching, and so I went rummaging around on, I went rummaging around on Etsy looking for a cross stitch project that I would like to do, because apparently I didn't want to do anything that I already owned, and I own several Christmas books and kits that are already kitted up, and apparently I didn't want to do any of them. So I went out and I found this sweet pattern that I decided to do. This Giraffe. Isn't that sweet? Now this is by the VioletMagicShop, all one word, VioletMagicShop. Now I'm making this for my granddaughter Isabel, who loves giraffes. The only problem with this particular design is it's very similar to something she already has on her wall, but I loved it and I wanted to make it, so I am. Now, if she doesn't want 2 giraffes on her wall, then I'll give it to Sammy, because Sammy might like it. But I will text Allison and find out what Sammy's favorite animal is. Now, it's very possible that Giraffe is no longer Isabel's favorite animal. These things change. Isn't that cute? So I went out and I looked up all the flosses that it called for. I owned called for 15 different colors. I owned 3 of them. And then I placed an order on Etsy for the other 12. And then I'm like, oh, you know, I don't want to wait. And then I realized Joann's is open because we're partially open. So I went to Joann's and I was able to get 10 of the 12 that I didn't already own. So I thought, well, I'm going to get the other 2 from my Etsy place, and then I'll just have, you know, doubles of the other flosses. And then I got a message saying she didn't have 2 of the flosses I wanted, one of which was the one of them that I wasn't able to get at Joann's. So I just canceled that order. She was very nice. And so I still don't have 2 colors of the 15, but I can just skip those. And if I can't find them somewhere else, then I will substitute. And this is how far I am. I started at the bottom so that I wouldn't be able to judge. You know, I have a giant piece of Aida. I had to buy this, and so I got this at Joann's too. They only had Aida. They did not have, I wanted even weave. They didn't have any. And so I started, and I'm trying, you know, and I try to calm myself and say, you know what, you don't have to be exact on this in terms of counting and stuff. And so I'm not. But this white space here is one of the colors that I'm missing, which is apparently a light pink. I could put any color in there. I could put any color in there. And if you look at this, so this is the light pink. And maybe it's right there. And those are the, oh, it might be right here. But I just need to look at where else it is and figure out a color that I might like to put in there, and it won't even matter. I mean, it wouldn't be terrible if I put white. White would be fine. So anyway, this is a little bit more relaxing than it might be because I'm realizing, you know what, if you're not counting correctly, which I often do not, it won't matter. But I've started doing some cross stitch. And I am having fun with it. Now it's a crazy pattern. It's got 13 pages that look like this. This is the page I'm on. You can see this. So anyway, 13 pages like that. And here are my flosses. So I am having fun with that. When I feel like dealing with little threads, I work on this. And when I didn't feel like dealing with little threads and I didn't feel like anything else, I also picked up my granny stripe blanket recently and did a few rows of that. And that's a king size blanket, so doing a few rows takes quite a bit of time, actually. My next work in progress is a cardigan, a crewneck cardigan. Now, as you may all know, Blueprint is going out of business. Blueprint used to be Crafty. Now, apparently it's going to happen like at the end of July or something. I own 11 or 12 classes that I bought, forever classes from Crafty. I have not been involved with it since it became Blueprint, but I own about 12 classes. They are trying to figure out how they're going to allow me access to my classes forever, everybody's classes. And I don't know, they haven't announced how they're going to do that. Now, I could download my classes because Dennis will set me up with an external hard drive or a memory stick or something that would be big enough to hold all 10 or 12 of my classes. Probably not a memory stick, an external hard drive. But not everybody can do that, and some people own hundreds, probably, or 100. classes. I mean, you know, Crafty's been around a very long time, and their classes are wonderful. So while they try to figure out how they're going to manage getting the forever classes to the people who need them, I decided that I need to start watching some of the classes that I haven't watched. And there are several really good classes that I haven't watched. So what I decided to do was think of it like I'm at a very long knitting event, and I'm taking these classes as part of my knitting event. So some of them I'm not really ready to do because I have like a Mary Jane Mucklestone class on Fair Isle knitting. I have a, what's her name? The brioche lady that's so, the amazing brioche lady whose name escapes me. I have her class, and I have several other classes that I have not watched or haven't watched all the way through. I have a how to fix your mistakes class, things like that. So, Marchand, maybe? Yeah, the brioche lady? Anyway, she lives in Amsterdam and is a friend of Stephen West. You know the one I mean. So, I started with a class called Sweater Modifications for a Custom Fit by Amy Herzog. Now, I love Amy Herzog. I have a book of hers. You can knit that. I have made one sweater out of that for Isabel. And it's all different styles of sweater, and I recommend the book. But anyway, so I decided I was going to take this class. Now, the class, you know, she goes from the very beginning, talks about swatching and what to do with your swatch, and then, you know, whatever. So I've gotten up to the part where, you know, you take your measurements. So I had Dennis take my measurements and then figure out how, you know, figure out on your thing what you do and all that stuff. So I got through that part, and so I am ready. Now this sweater does not have a name. I am making a cardigan. It has several options. I'm making a crew neck cardigan as I go along here. Now this is knit in pieces, and I got far enough along in the class that I could start my back, which I did. Now the next lesson is like how to modify, if you have to modify around the top, and I don't think I have to modify around the top. So that's good. But here is, so I started my back. So here is my back. This yarn is old wool yarn, and I said on my vlog that I thought old wool was going out of business, but it's not old wool I was thinking of, it's old loop. So this is old wool, wash worsted in the color Brook Trout, but it's kind of, actually it's not that far off. It's kind of a aqua, grayish, anyway, worsted, 100% machine washable, certified organic merino. So it's machine washable and machine dry low, which is great. So anyway, there's the, and here, now the pattern is plain. I decided to to zhuzh it up a little bit, and so I'm adding a panel down the back. This is a pattern that I got from my Doverfell pattern, which is a pattern I knit 2 Doverfells for my granddaughters, and I plan on knitting one for me because it's like a hooded sweatshirt. And she calls this the dot stitch, but I think this is I would call this a broken seed stitch, because it's basically knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and then the next row is all knit, and then the next row is purl knit, purl knit, purl knit, and the next row is all knit. So I would call that a broken seed stitch, but I don't know. She calls it a dot stitch. And anyway, I think it's pretty lovely. I've just done the seed stitch pattern on my envelope, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought, you know, I want to do her pattern, but I don't necessarily want it quite so plain. So I'm putting this down the middle of the back, and I'm also going to put a stripe of that down next to the button band in the front. And I'm even thinking about doing a stripe down the sleeve, but it might be too much. If it is, then I won't do that. Now, the one thing that she does that's interesting is that she does her decreases in the middle, not the middle, but down the side of the back and in the front. In the front it looks like darts instead of on the edges. Because this is a sewn pattern, it's easier to not have those increases and decreases on the sides. And this is a more natural place for it rather than the side. Now, as you can see, I marked my decreases here, and I forgot one. I was just knitting yesterday, and I was playing poker online while I was knitting, and I wasn't paying attention, and I missed a decrease. So my waist is going to be 2 stitches bigger than it would have been otherwise. I decided not to worry about it. Now I have just started increasing again. That's what this is, and I will only increase 3 times. So that I keep my stitch count correct. But this is my back of my sweater, my unnamed sweater that I'm doing along with Amy Herzog. Here's my swatch. And I used her method of figuring out my gauge, and I hope it's right. But my gauge is a big fat liar, and we'll see if Amy Herzog can fix that or not. If she can't, well, I won't be surprised, because that may be something that is totally unfixable. I've told you this before, but I saw, when I went to Vogue Knitting Live 3 years ago now, I guess it was, there was a panel of designers, and Michelle Wong said, swatches are big fat liars. So if you're going along knitting and you think something's wrong, even though your swatch said nothing's wrong, something's probably wrong, and you should stop and make sure. Because swatches are big fat liars. So mine certainly are. But I've been measuring this, and it seems like it's going to be okay. Because I'm a little worried. Oh, the other thing I forgot to tell you about my envelope. So I got 3 skeins of that sweater toad from the Crafty Toads. It's in Aran weight. This is how much I had left. 4 grams. I was worried I was going to be playing chicken. And of course I used my swatch. I had to undo my swatch to get that yarn. I knew I was going to need that yarn. 4 grams left. 4 grams of that. So 3 skeins of sweater toad can make you a envelope if you have my same gauge. In case you were wondering. Okay. What else is this? This is nothing. I'm done with that. The thing that I forgot, and I don't know where they are, so I didn't stop to go get them, is my friend Simona has a sock knitting machine. And so I had her make me 2 sock tubes, which I can't find at the moment. Let me just look in this bag just in case. No, they're downstairs somewhere hidden from the dog. And so she made me 2 sock tubes. I sent her some yarn and she's tubed them up for me. And there's 60 stitches. Now I used to use a 64, but I've lost weight lately, and I thought, well, let me try a 60, and if they're too small, then I can knit off them. It's not like it wrecks the yarn or anything. It's just like knitting off a sock blank. So, but they turned out to fit me perfectly, and so she has an Etsy shop, Recycled Yarn Co. on Etsy, and I will put a link to her shop in the show notes below. And so she's doing sock tubes if anybody is interested in a 60 stitch sock tube. Just wanted to let you know. I wish I could have found my sock tubes in time. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know. So I have 2 tubes ready to get cuffs and toes and heels in them. And I will be sending her more yarn next week because I need socks, and apparently I don't feel like knitting them. I'm in a sweater mood and maybe a shawl mood, but I'm not in a sock mood. So I'm just making it easier on myself and going with the sock tubes because easy peasy. That's what I say. I have one more project to show you, which is halfway between a work in progress and future knitting, because I have made a swatch, and I made my swatch using the same technique from Amy Herzog, and I'm going to take the pattern and I'm going to do the same thing to try to figure out the measurements and make sure it's going to fit me properly, and try to use what I've learned on a different pattern than the one in the class. Isn't this pretty yarn? This is also Crafty toads in the cottonide toad base. So it's 50% wool, 50% cotton in the colorway Joy. This is a new color for them, and it's so pretty. I just have, I realize I have nothing pink. I own nothing pink, and for some reason I wanted something pink, and they just had the perfect color. Now, when you look on their podcast, they show other joys that are darker pink than this, like more saturated pink. This is a lighter color because of the cotton. The cotton doesn't take the color like the wool part does. So in their other bases that are 100% wool, it's a much brighter pink. But I just love this, and I wanted to use the cottonide toad because I am making the Fable, which is a summer sweater. And I've decided this is probably my last summer sweater that I'm making this year because I have quite a few summer sweaters. So this is the Fable by Alicia Plummer. It's a new pattern. I think I got it on discount like the first day it was out or something. But it's very nice. The only thing after I got the pattern, I realized that these sleeves aren't really sleeves. It kind of goes like this, and then it has, it's not quite as big in the body, but it has just a little ribbed thing on the sleeve. I might make those sleeves longer because I don't want too many sleeveless things with my arms. Anyway, so this, did I start it? I don't know. Did I start it? I have a swatch. Do you call that started? But I have not taken the schematic and taken my measurements, which Dennis took for me for the other thing. You can see here. And figured out what size I want to do. But I did my swatch and I measured it and everything, so I know what my gauge is. And then I can figure out what size I should make and if I need to make adjustments, because I can make adjustments now because I took my class. Nancy Marchant, she's the brioche lady. I knew it would come to me. So anyway, this is another project, another whip, or is it proximate knitting? I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess it could be whatever I want it to be. I mean, there's no rules, right? I'm the boss of my knitting. So that's what I've been working on. I have other proximate knitting because I have gotten, besides the Tulpe pattern from the lovely Linda, which I got a few weeks ago, I have gotten gifts of patterns in the last week or two. Marianne sent me this Aura shawl. Very pretty 2-color shawl with a really nice border and a lot going on, and I really love it. And she sent me this because both she and I have a mother-in-law named Aura. So my mother-in-law's name is Aura. So I'm very tempted to make her a shawl with this pattern. Now she has 2 shawls that I've made, but the reality is both shawls she admired when I wore them over to her house, and both shawls for one reason or another I wasn't that happy with, and so I gave it to her. So she has 2 of my shawls, neither of which I made for her. So I am very tempted to make her sorry, I've stopped the presses for all the other coughs. Stop the video. She turns 90 next February. So maybe I'll make her this shawl and tell her it's for her 90th birthday. If I finish it early, she can have it earlier than that. Because she likes my shawl. She wears them. Yeah. So anyway, thank you, Mary Ann. That was so sweet. And our Auras will love their shawls, I'm quite sure. And then just today I got a message, well I think I got it the other day, but I'm not on Ravelry very much, that Chevy Rel sent me this. She's the sweetest thing. This is the Andromeda cap by Maria Ninja Chickens. And she sent me this pattern. Wasn't that sweet? Isn't this a cute hat? So this is reverse stockinette. So I wonder if you make it inside out. I imagine that you do, because most people don't like to purl, so I suspect, but I just printed it. I haven't, I mean, I just knew I got it today. I think she sent it the other day, but I haven't been on. So, oh, and lots and lots and lots of instructions on how to figure out how to fit it and what size you need, and you have to gauge swatch. Okay. So anyway, I haven't, like I said, I haven't read it yet, but I need more hats for sure. So thank you, Chevy Rel. You're the best. So there's some future knitting for me. Because, oh, the other thing I'm working on, I do have one more. Oh, I don't know why my throat is so scratchy. I keep coughing. Talking a lot. Yes, I actually worked a little bit on my ochre sweater. This linen yarn is so textury, it's hard to tell the front from the back. So I will show you the back of it so you can see it in the stockinette. But this is my ochre shawl. Boy, you can really see the stripes there, can't you? So I took another sweater apart to make this, and I didn't have enough yarn for that sweater, so I put in a new, I alternated skeins, and look, this is such a different color, batch color, isn't it? But I'm not going to worry about that. So this, I started the lace. This got put aside for a while because I was doing stockinette. I wasn't going to be doing any lace. Don't be giving me lace. I'm not in the mood for lace. There it is. That's even my color, right? So I'm just a little bit here. And so I did it for a while. I enjoyed it. And then I read ahead in the pattern. And the pattern, the bind off along the bottom of the sweater is I-cord. And then you pick up all the way around and do I-cord on the whole rest of the front edging. And I'm like, I-cord, okay, let me do something else. So this got put aside. I'll finish that sweater eventually because I love the linen. And I'm, you know, I I wish it weren't striped. And it's not that I love the stripes, but I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm using that yarn. That's one of the first yarns I ever bought when I started knitting. And I had it forever and forever and forever. And I have, that's Shibui linen. And I have a lot of Shibui linen because Shibui linen was the, I think it was the Luxe yarn in one of the packages from Yarn Box. Used to get Yarn Box Luxe. And I'm pretty sure Shibui linen was one of those boxes. And it had like 4 or 5 skeins in 3 colors for a shawl. It had a big long rectangular shawl out of this linen. And so I got that, and other people were selling it because linen is really iffy. A lot of people don't like knitting with linen. This is a chain ply, but linen has no give, just like cotton. And so people didn't like it, and so a lot of these boxes were for sale in the Yarn Box D-Stash thread. So I bought several boxes from other people, so because I love this linen. But the only thing I've ever made out of it was a sweater that I took apart. It was a Bryce sweater. I like the picture of the Bryce. I think it looks great. I made it twice. Both of those sweaters ended up back in stash. So I'm not making that sweater again. But I made both of those sweaters out of yarn that I really like, and so I want the yarn back. So this is the first yarn I've ever used of all my giant stash of linen. That's a lie, because I've made all the bath mitts that I made for Christy and Allison out of that linen too. So I used the linen for the bath mitts too. So, and Allison and Christy both got 2 bath mitts 2 years, not last Christmas, the Christmas before, and Christy asked for more bath mitts for Christmas this year because she really liked it. Maybe I only made 1 before. Anyway, so I did use it for bath mitts, and they loved it. And so this is the first garment that I've made, but I have lots of linen, and it will get made because I do love linen. I don't love to work with it, but I don't mind working with it. But I want linen at the end. I want a linen something for sure. So I will have that. So anyway, that's about it for what I've been working on, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And I haven't seen my bra straps very much. So I think I'm not going to worry about it. I did what I could, and I'm done. And I even wove in the ends. I wove in the ends today, and I fixed the neckline. And so this is ready to wear. Maybe I'll wear it tonight. I'll keep wearing it, and I have, because it goes with my shorts, going over to the in-laws for a little while to say Happy Father's Day and help my mother-in-law with something. And that would be just about it. So I hope everyone is well. Thank you all for joining me. I hope everyone's healthy and surviving pretty well through all of this. Lots of places are opening up. I'm concerned. Jason and Allison and the girls are in Florida. They're having a big spike now of coronavirus, so I'm not thrilled about that. Although I think we're going to be Skyping with them later for Father's Day. And so we will see how they're doing. Oh, maybe I'll take the bralette and ask Allison if she thinks she would have any interest in it. She will say yes. She's very agreeable. So, anyway, I hope all is well with you guys, and I wish you all well, and I hope you have lots and lots of time to do the crafting that brings you joy. And I will be vlogging tomorrow if you want to see more of me. If you don't, I get it. And it looks like the podcasts are coming about every 3 weeks, so I think that works. I hope it works for you, and I hope you're all well, and I will See you later.